Hey there, my name is Sarah, and I am a little nervous, but I'm here to share with you something that has changed my life and something that I really feel the need to share with the world. I recently have felt really inspired to make a change in my life and do something better for the world, do something better for humanity and for myself personally, and I feel that this video is going to kind of explain my journey to that, and I feel like I need a support team because in my life personally I don't have a lot of support and this life change that I'm making, but I feel as if I can gain support through people who believe in the same way I do. What I'm going to share with you today is my journey to becoming vegan. Have always loved animals, I know that sounds cliche, but I've always loved animals and always have loved the idea of giving service and doing something a little more. And I feel like this lifestyle of becoming vegan and being vegan, it's not just a diet. It isn't a diet, it's a lifestyle. It's your contribution to essentially the world. I thought I'd just share a little bit about how I became a vegan. When I was a young girl, my family lived on a farm. I come from a very large family. I have 7 brothers. I have 2 sisters. So that means there's a total of 10 kids on our family. My dad farmed. We ate regular farm food, a lot of dairy, a lot of meats, a lot of animal protein, eggs. And I didn't know that those things were necessarily bad for me and bad for the planet. I had no idea, of course. I was a young girl. But my father eventually stopped farming and moved us to Wyoming, and that's where I actually grew up, was in Wyoming. When I was there, great experience growing up, I loved it, but once again, because of the location, the state, the people, the population, demographic, people aren't really educated when it comes to health and wellness and really putting in what your body needs and understanding that our bodies were not made to process animal meat and animal products. Growing up, I hated meat. I hated eating meat. I hated anything to do with beef or fish. I just hated. And so whenever we had meat at dinner, I would just eat if we had pasta or spaghetti, I'd eat the noodles and the red sauce, but I wouldn't eat any of the meat. It just grossed me out. And sometimes I'd be at the dinner table and I'd be eating something I didn't like, so I'd tuck it into a napkin and I'd put it in my pocket and I'd go upstairs and throw it in the toilet and flush the toilet. I think I got found out eventually, but I hated meat. I hated the taste. I hated the texture. Oh, I think the idea of it being from an animal also really bothered me from a very young age. And I, I honestly have always been a person to nurture, especially animals that come off the streets or from the wild or whatever. Cats that came off the street, I would just bring home and take care of, and it was great. That's probably why I had a hard time understanding why people wanted to eat animals, even though people say, oh, it's fine, these are our pets, cats and dogs. But you know what? Eating things like pigs and fish and beef and chicken. Well, those animals are not items. They're not just food that gets put on your plate. They're actually creatures of this earth that belong here and they have a life to live. And I'm not trying to sound like a crazy animal person, but they truly they want to survive just like humans do. They are creatures. We are creatures. We want to survive. That's our goal. When I got a little bit older, I hated anything animal protein, but I thought, well, I can at least eat turkey. Turkey is something that I can eat and it doesn't bother me because I wasn't around turkeys, wild turkeys or turkeys that were domesticated. Um, so I decided that one year my family was going to go to a ranch, get some turkeys, shoot them, and pluck them, butcher them, things like that. But I was used to butchering animals in our kitchen. My family went hunting, we butchered animals. I hated every second of it. This is what my garage looked like growing up. Kind of scary. I hated when the kitchen just became that blood red color. Honestly, blood on the countertops, blood on the floor from us butchering deer, elk, let's see, whatever. Oh, lamb. Lamb was a huge thing in my family. Ugh, yeah, it was gross. So these animals would hang. We'd butcher them. We'd shoot them. We'd hang them up in our garage, and then we'd butcher them once all the blood, well, most of the blood had drained out onto the garage floor. So you can imagine why it would be such a mess and why it really grossed me out. Just the smells, just knowing that the dead animals were in our house, it was really, really hard on me. When I got older, I thought, no, I can do turkey because I haven't ever butchered turkey, so I loved Thanksgiving because I could have turkey and not feel grossed out. Well, one year we decided we were going to butcher turkeys, and we shot them, we took them home, we dipped them in really hot water, and then we sat there and we plucked out all the feathers of these turkeys. And it was, honestly, it was disgusting. It was really, I tried to act like, oh, I'm so tough, especially since my boyfriend at the time, he's now my husband, he was with me, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this is nothing. I've butchered animals before as I'm plucking the turkeys. It was disgusting. And I butchered them on the counter of our kitchen, of course. And one of the turkeys had this really massive cancerous growth on its breast. And I thought, oh my gosh, what in the world? It has cancer. Finding out later, these turkeys had been fed pig's feed. And so it makes sense that they had these cancerous growths. So you can imagine, okay, if the turkeys are getting cancer, that's probably not a good thing. They're eating the pig's feed. Whatever the pigs are eating, it's not good for us either. So why in the world are we eating these turkeys? I don't know. I want you to notice in this first picture how I was acting like I was having a good time butchering animals, but really I was sad on the inside. I was sickly. And in the second picture, I'm actually in the same place, same kitchen, but now I'm living a vegan lifestyle and am a lot happier, living cruelty free. And that was a huge stepping stone for me to realize that animals are not made for our enjoyment. When I graduated from high school, this was 7 years ago, I lived with my sister. And Hawaii is, I lived there for about 3 months. And Hawaii is very expensive, as many people know. Any product has to be shipped over, sent over, flown over, and it's very, very expensive. So meat, of course, is not cheap, but it was very expensive in Hawaii. Milk, different types of bacon, sausage, they were expensive. And my sister and I, we both didn't really like eating animals anyway, so we decided, no, we're going to be vegan. So we were vegan that entire summer, and I felt amazing. The interesting thing is that in Hawaii, we didn't really exercise ever. All we did was maintain a plant-based lifestyle, and we felt amazing and we felt so rejuvenated. I felt truly fantastic. I loved how I felt. I was making sure that I wasn't eating animal products. I used to have these terrible pains in IBS, or irritable bowel syndrome. And that went away when I moved to Hawaii and I started eating pure, clean foods. A lot of grains, a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, because that was cheap, and we honestly picked fruit off trees and we ate it and we felt amazing. Let's fast forward, when I go to college and I start eating all the crappy food that college kids eat. And it was terrible. I, at the time, was struggling so much with eating issues or an eating disorder. And it didn't help that I was eating these animal products that were making me gain a ton of weight. When I say a ton of weight, in my mind it was a ton of weight. Probably wasn't that bad. But it made me gain weight. It made me feel really just crummy every day, wake up with terrible headaches. My IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, came back, and it was really rough. I honestly hated myself. I had a very low self-esteem, and I knew whenever I ate these products, I felt so guilty. I thought, wow, I lived plant-based in Hawaii, but I can't live plant-based here. What's up with that? And I could. I just was uneducated.
Hey babe, you want these right here? Hey guys, animal products will destroy Mother Nature and everything that it stands for.
No, that's exactly what I just said, so good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go plants.
Oh, that's my husband. Mm-hmm. Hey there.
Love you.
Let's close the door. Yes, okay. I do have his support for the most part. I'll explain that a little bit later in the video. Alright, food that I thought was healthy, that really, it wasn't healthy food. I didn't understand that what I was putting in my body was crap, essentially crap. When you research healthy foods, of course the Food and Drug Administration are going to tell you, yeah, animal products are great, because guess what? They're working with these animal product companies. And of course they're going to say on the food pyramid, now the myplate.gov, that these things are good for us. And I didn't understand that they weren't. And I didn't understand why I was feeling crappy and I had eating issues. I didn't understand why. When I got a little older, it was around my sophomore year in college, I decided that I was going to go back to eating more plant-based. And so I started cutting out meat. Didn't eat it at all sophomore, junior year. And I felt awesome. I felt great. I felt healthy. I'm a runner. And so that for me was that avoiding that gut, heavy feeling you feel when you eat a big meal of like beef or steak or chicken, whatever it is, that you just feel really sick and heavy for a long time. Honestly, for me, it would last like 2 days where I'd feel super sick. And when I started eating more plant-based, I felt healthier. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I'm starting to feel healthier. This is fantastic. I just wish I would have known. I wish I would have understood why I needed to become vegan, why I needed to eat a plant-based diet and eat more plants at that point in my life, because I know it would have really, I guess, I would have avoided a lot of problems that I encountered, a lot of issues that I just could have solved, honestly, by eating plant-based. About a month ago, while I'm eating plant-based, for years and years, but about a month ago, I started watching a video. I don't know why. It was seriously like midnight, and I started looking on YouTube, and Freelee, the banana girl, on YouTube popped up, and I started watching her videos. And although she's a little crass and she's a little intense, her message, which she's very passionate about, and you can tell that from her videos, so you'd have to go look them up. Although vulgar and sometimes intense, it hit me that, Sarah, you need to change. You need to change your life. What you're doing is stupid. You know that every time you eat cottage cheese and yogurt and cheese and eggs, you are not contributing to humanity. And you keep saying, oh, I want to, live and eat well, but I'm eating crap. I'm eating plant-based, but I'm not being smart. Even though I wasn't eating a lot of dairy, I was eating it every once in a while. And I really wanted to make a huge change, because I feel like a lot of us are ignorant. And ignorance is truly bliss. It really is, until you find out the truth. And one couple that I love, of course, is That Vegan Couple. What I love is that they're so straightforward and they're so kind. And that what we do every day, what we put in our bodies, makes a huge difference in the world. So underneath their videos, if you click on more, you can see a description of the different videos that they encourage in movies, documentaries that they want you to watch. And I have already, a few of them, Forks Over Knives, Cowspiracy, I had already seen. My sister is also a plant-based, lives on a plant-based lifestyle, and so she recommended a couple videos to me months and years ago. So I've seen a few of them already. But I wanted to become more educated, so I watched a few more. One of them, I'll put the link below, is a man named Gary, and he has this amazing video. It's called The Best Speech You Will Ever Hear, and it's honestly, you have to watch it. I don't care if you eat meat. I don't care if you are a vegetarian. One book that honestly changed my ideal of America and the food industry and the food packing industry and meat packing industry was one that I read my freshman year in college, and I actually did a research paper on it, and it's called The Jungle. It was written by Upton Sinclair, and he just, honestly, it goes into the truth of the meatpacking industry, even in the 1900s. hundreds. These companies have been corrupted and have had these filthy organizations for years and years and years. And it's just astounding to me how many people are still ignorant and refuse to listen, refuse to actually come to terms that eating meat is not natural. At this point in my life, I am being completely vegan. I've never been completely vegan before, and I am just so excited. I could be nervous, I could be just, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to become as educated as I can. I'm not living in ignorance. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy. For some people it is, and I love that that vegan couple says that. It honestly is easy if you make it easy. It's all in how you approach it. But you know what? Eventually those things, it's all in your mind. We make them more challenging than they have to, and eventually those things become easier and easier, just like trying out anything new. If we didn't try out new challenges, then where would we be in life? You know, we would be stuck in the same old habits that we're always in, and we wouldn't grow. We wouldn't progress. One thing I want to encourage you to do is watch these videos in the links below, and honestly, I am asking you, I am begging you for your support from me. In my life, I don't have a lot of people who believe what I'm doing is right. So any tips that you have for me, I truly would appreciate it. I would honestly love that. My husband, who you saw before, he's supportive of me, but he has honestly changed his eating ways so much. We never have meat in the house, obviously, but whenever we go out to eat, he still wants his burger. I understand. You can't change people. You can't force people. Sometimes it's easier said than done, and truly, for some people, it's going to be easier to become vegan than for others. I'm asking for your support because my husband has asked me not to be pushy toward my family members and toward my friends, and I'm not a pushy person. I understand that certain vegans are. That's why people are so turned off by vegans. I'm hoping that I can be a vegan advocate and I can help people live this lifestyle and eat more plants, because it's so worth it. If we want to give back to the world, if we want to help these individuals who are sick, I hope that you can give me some really good advice, whoever it may be. Honestly, you can comment below. You can message me directly. I am starting a vlog and Instagram. The name of it, Wild Yums, and wild meaning plant-based, and yums because eating plant-based is delicious. I just really hope that I can get support from those around me, get support from you, social media, YouTube, and I would appreciate anything you can do to help me on my vegan journey, and I hope that this video inspires others to become aware, to become educated. And thanks for watching. I really hope that you can join me on this journey. I would love for you to join me on this journey, and make sure to follow me on Instagram and YouTube. But I'll see you later. Bye.
Don't forget to visit my blog at wildyums.com and make sure to subscribe to YouTube and follow me on Instagram.